Another important need theory of motivation is the two-factor theory, also called the dual structure theory. Let's take a look. Two-factor theory, the dual structure theory, identifies motivation factors which affect satisfaction and hygiene factors which determine dissatisfaction. The two-factor theory once played a major role in managerial thinking about motivation, and though few researchers today accept the theory, it is nevertheless still widely known and accepted among practicing managers. Frederick Herzberg and his associates developed the two-factor theory in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Herzberg began by interviewing approximately 200 accountants and engineers in Pittsburgh. He asked them to recall times that they felt especially satisfied and motivated by their jobs, and times that they felt particularly dissatisfied and unmotivated. To his surprise, Herzberg found that entirely different sets of factors were associated with the two kinds of feelings about work. People associated entirely different causes, such as recognition or achievement, with satisfaction and motivation. The findings led Herzberg to conclude that the prevailing thinking about satisfaction and motivation was incorrect. Herzberg research identified different influences from two different sets of factors. He argued that two different dimensions must be included. Thus, he saw motivation as a two-factor phenomenon, with motivation factors and hygiene factors serving different purposes. This figure illustrates the two-factor concept that there's one dimension ranging from satisfaction to no satisfaction, and another ranging from dissatisfaction to no dissatisfaction. The two dimensions must presumably be associated with the two sets of factors identified in the initial interviews. In addition, the figure lists the primary factors identified in Herzberg interviews. Motivation factors such as achievement, recognition, and the opportunity to plan and control their own work were often cited by people as primary causes of satisfaction and motivation. When present in a job, these factors apparently could cause satisfaction and motivation. When they're absent, they would result in feelings of no satisfaction rather than dissatisfaction. The other set of factors, hygiene factors, came out in response to the questions about dissatisfaction and lack of motivation. The respondents suggested that pay, job security, supervisors, and working conditions, if seen as inadequate, could lead to feelings of dissatisfaction. When these factors were considered acceptable, however, the person still was not necessarily satisfied. Rather, he or she was simply not dissatisfied. Unlike many other theorists, Herzberg described explicitly how managers could apply his theory. In particular, he developed and described a technique called job enrichment for structuring employee tasks. Because it's gained popularity so quickly, the two-factor theory has been scrutinized more than almost any other organizational behavior theory. The results have been contradictory, to say the least. The initial study by Herzberg and his associates supported the basic premises of the theory, as did a few follow-up studies. In general, studies that use the same methodology as Herzberg did, content analysis of recalled incidents, tend to support the theory. However, this methodology has itself been criticized, and studies that use other methods to measure satisfaction and dissatisfaction frequently obtain results quite different from Herzberg's. It's not surprising, then, that the two-factor theory is no longer held in high esteem by organizational behavior researchers. Indeed, the field has since adopted a far more complex and valid conceptualization of motivation. But because the initial popularity and its general guidance for application, the two-factor theory merits a special place in the history of motivational research.